Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Katie Riddle, the author of the upcoming book Triumph in the Midst of Adversity, talk show host, and international public speaker. Today, I'll be speaking to you on the topic failure to acknowledge we have problems. Okay, so the failure to acknowledge your problem is a bigger problem than the issues at stake. So that's what we'll be talking about today. I've been telling you, giving you tips to actually relax, but now I want to deal with the issues. And if you have any concern, anything that you think gives you stress, please leave me a note, on my Facebook page or leave a comment underneath this video. What I'll be dealing with from now is, some challenges that actually confront us that causes us stress. And I actually think that the first thing I want to talk about, is failure to acknowledge our problems. Okay, so if you are dealing with a situation that you've refused to acknowledge, that is a bigger problem itself. I must say this. So it doesn't matter how good or how many professionals, how many help is around you. If you fail to acknowledge that you have a problem, then help will never come. So in the world we live in today, we have so many and so much knowledge out there, so many qualified, professionals in every field, name it. But now we happen to have even more problem than ever before. And why is this happening? I realize that the reason why there's so much problem, so much stress out there is because we fail to acknowledge we're having a problem in the first place. So, for instance, if you visit your doctor and you fail to tell your doctor how you're feeling, you went to your doctor asking you, how you doing? Say, I'm not well. You just tell them, I'm okay, I just came to see you. If you say you just came to see your GP, what can your GP do for you? And even if you acknowledge, to your GP that you're ill and you fail to tell your GP what exactly is wrong with you, I must assure you, your GP cannot help you. GP meaning, what is a GP? Because I don't want to, assume that everybody knows what I'm talking about. So that is what I'm talking about today. The failure, your failure to acknowledge that you actually have a problem is even much bigger than the problem itself. So therefore, it is important. The number one thing you must do is to acknowledge you have a problem. So therefore, it doesn't matter what you're going through. Be it, childbearing, be it, unemployment, be it marital crisis, whatever you're dealing with, health issues, the first and foremost thing to do is to acknowledge that you're having a problem. And after acknowledging that you have a problem, then, I think your problem is already half done. Because if you can acknowledge that, listen, this thing is not right. This is not going well. This is not actually right. You need to acknowledge that. For instance, you have a project at hand and you are doing everything that you can, but you know that something is wrong somewhere. You're not getting it right. If you continue the same way you're doing it, if you like, just pretend there and do the same thing and it gives you an outcome you did not get, and you repeat the same outcome again without changing anything, without seeking for help, without, looking for solution, I must assure you, it might bring out the same results. So therefore, it is very important we acknowledge that we have a problem. So when you acknowledge your problem, it means that you are actually being sincere to yourself. Because what happens oftentimes is that people tend to lie to themselves, and that's the worst thing that can happen to anyone on earth. When you lie to yourself, you know this thing is not right, but you want to play up. You want to pretend that everything is going well, it's okay. I'm not saying don't be optimistic. I'm not saying for you to give up on yourself. I'm not telling you not to have faith, but this is different from faith. Even the Bible tells you that, seek and you shall find, okay? You have to knock for the door to open for you. So if you have a problem and you talk about this problem, or you don't do anything, is another problem itself. But what I'm saying here first and foremost is that when you are having a situation at hand, you must acknowledge that this situation is not right for you. So it might be your business, it might be your work, it might be your lifestyle, your health issues. You must acknowledge It might be even your weight. You must acknowledge that something is wrong. Because if you're a size 10 and you go to size 14, you go to size 16, you go to size 18, you go to size 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and you're not saying you have a problem, you keep adding weight, for instance, and now your doctor diagnoses you, one day that you're obese and all that, it become a huge problem. And I want to tell you this, which is very important. Please take note of this. Why is it important you acknowledge your problem? It's important you acknowledge your problem because once you do that, you are opening doors for solution. And also, it gives you, the opportunity to actually see and find what the cause of your problem is. Because if you don't acknowledge you've got a problem, it's a bigger problem you're going to cause. Because what happened is this. The problem, you're giving it time to actually mature, to generate to something much more, difficult to handle. For instance, a young kid that lived behind us years ago in Nigeria when we were growing up. This little boy went out to play with his friends and he was climbing blocks. Back home, people keep blocks around the houses, that they're going to use to, either do some adjustment in their houses or to build extension in their family houses or, in the future. And they just leave the blocks there for years. And this boy went on those blocks and was climbing and he fell. And one of those bricks, when I say block, I mean bricks. I would call them blocks in Nigeria. They mold them from cement and sand, so it's really hard. And that block fell on this little boy's rib. Because, I know as a kid he was afraid, but he was in pain. He could have just told his mom or his aunt he was living with, say, Auntie, listen, I'm having pain here. But because he failed to acknowledge that there was a problem, do you know what happened to that kid? One day we just heard a voice, loud cry, loud voice from behind our house screaming. And what was it? They said this boy passed on. And we were so much in shock. What must have happened to him? And we heard that he was playing and the brick fell on him, on his ribs. And, I think he rot inside or something because no one knew what was happening, inside. That is why, that is not injury, but it's also our lives. As an adult, as a man, as a woman, whatever you're struggling with, maybe marital problem, unemployment issues, business, your lifestyle, your health, please, 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 please acknowledge that something is wrong. Because that is key. If you can acknowledge you have a problem, then you know that half of your problem is already solved. Because now what's going to happen is that you're going to be seeking for help. And if you acknowledge your problem and you refuse to seek help, then you are making another bigger mistake, which is what I'll be talking about your action and the decision that you make, because they are so key to our lives. Stop making excuses. Take responsibility of your life. Take responsibility of your future. Do not make excuses. Do not think, you are the only one that is in that situation that you're going through. If you listen to other people's story, I must tell you, you would rather prefer to exchange your problem for a lesser one. Because in life, we tend to make excuses for not doing things, for not, doing the right thing. But once you acknowledge your problem, which is false, you must also be ready to take action. And that will lead me to my next topic, which I'll be talking to you about, the power of your decision. Because oftentimes we make excuses. Oh, it's because this has happened to me. Oh, it's because of that. Listen to me. You can have excuses. You can make excuses. You can make excuses from now to tomorrow, but the truth of the matter is that, the truth of the matter is that, once you are not acknowledging your problems and also you fail to take decision, the decision is worse. I'm streaming on my YouTube channel, Keto Show. So that is it. I just had to respond to. I'm so sorry about that. So therefore, I must tell you, acknowledge your problem. And the next step is, the decision you make. Because oftentimes we make excuses. But listen to me. Whatever that happens to you can be challenging. I agree with you, and I can with the truth of the matter is, the life you live to sense is what, happened to you. And 9%, which is a huge percentage, is what you do. So therefore, it's important we do not lie to ourselves. To make the right decisions. But the first and foremost thing is for you to acknowledge that you have a problem. Because once you acknowledge that you have a problem, then help will come your way. So thank you so much for watching. And I love you a lot as always. And bye for now. Thank you.